Hi, this is Caroline from The Happy Sensitive. In this video, I want to address a question I get quite a lot, which is about when you're an empath and you feel like you're drowning in relationships and you're really worried about just losing yourself, losing your power, losing your sense of self in relationships with other people. There is a kind of idea out there that if you're an empath, that's just the way it is, and it doesn't have to be that way. But not having it be that way is going to take some work. So I want to give you a sense of what that drowning, what that overwhelm, what that losing yourself is really about, what's really going on, to help you understand what it would take to change that and how actually the power is in your hands, which is good because it means you can do something about it. So what happens for empaths is that, and when I'm talking about empaths, I talk about people who feel other people's feelings, like feel them literally intensely, not imagining what people would be feeling, but literally feeling what other people are feeling. And this is different because the other person doesn't have to say anything. They don't have to give off any kind of body cues about what they're going through. That you will just somehow get this feeling from them about something that, that's going on with them. And obviously, if you're in a relationship and you've got that going on, it can be pretty overwhelming because you get bombarded with signals and energy and emotions from the other person. One of the big ways that you can then lose yourself in a relationship like that is that because those signals are so strong and so obvious, you pay way too much attention to them. And you end up starting to anticipate and react to your partner's unspoken signals and needs and wants. And so instead of making the relationship kind of very conscious and making it about what you talk about, what you explicitly ask from each other, it becomes this kind of underground communication exchange of wants and needs and desires. And, everybody, or at least, a lot of people will have a lot of emotions on a daily basis that are always ongoing. And so there's never an end to it. It's kind of like being glued to your TV 24/7. There's always something to watch. And while you're doing that, you're not aware, you're not paying attention to how you are feeling, what you need, what's going on with you. Because a lot of empaths have this pattern of paying so much attention to the other person's energy that they completely negate their own experience. And also there's this idea that if they just try to figure out what's going on with the other person or try to make it okay, that then the stimulation will lessen, right? Because as long as you don't know how to deal with this inside of yourself and resolve this internally and get that, all that chatter and all those signals from your partner out of your space, as long as they keep coming in, the only way that you knew how to solve this was if you were going to just try and fix it so it would calm down and it would then kind of be less of a problem or less of a distraction for you. The thing is, though, you're never going to reach that point because even if you've got one thing sorted, there's always going to be another thing. So what this leads to in relationships is actually becoming a very codependent partner who is always looking to please and support the partner so that the partner will kind of calm down and feel okay, so that there's less stimulation, less energy, less stress coming from them towards you so that you can feel okay. And that's where you lose yourself, and that's where it becomes really disempowering. So the solution to that is to learn skills so that you don't have to fix or solve or resolve anything for your partner. You can just let, him or her have their own experience, have their own frustrations, have their own stuff going on. And when it comes your way, when all that energy comes your way, that you have ways to get that energy out of your space. It's kind of like if you were like a big magnet And every time somebody had anything that was made of metal, it would just come flying towards you. If that's your situation and you're working in an office, you're going to try and do everything to like close the paperclip boxes so that you don't get paper clips flying at you all the time, right? You're going to do everything you can to like solve and fix and deal with everything that is metal so that it doesn't come flying your way. But what if you have a way to, when paper clips come flying away, to just really quickly just sweep them up and just get them out of your space so that it's fine for there to be lots of paper clips in the office, because when it does come your way, you can just get it out of the way very quickly. And the paper clips don't bother you anymore in this way. And then the second level to that is digging into why you've set yourself up somehow to be the paperclip attractor. Because every empath's patterns are unique. This is why I don't have like a simple downloadable program that you can do totally by yourself. You have a story. Your nervous system, your psyche, your energy field, like everything is wired to pay special attention to certain kinds of energies. Some empaths are very, very sensitive to and take on a lot of energy when somebody's depressed. Usually there's a story there of a parent who is very depressed or a sibling who was very depressed, somebody who had a big impact on the family where they felt like, I need to be there for them or things are going to really, really get out of control. Other empaths, they get really sucked in when things are about to fall apart because they were always the glue that kept everything together at home. And so that's what they've been conditioned to become. Because when you're little, you do what you need to do to keep the family safe, because the family is your way to survive as well. It's not just a love-based thing. It's not just that you love them and you want the best for them. It's also safety. Like if you're little, you need your family to be okay. You need your family to be surviving. So you will do what you need to do to make them feel okay. Which as an empath with lots of energy abilities means that you probably got your energy skills involved to try and prop people up or make them feel better. And so those particular patterns that are unique to you, the particular energies and feelings that you're most sensitive to, that's where there's an inner kind of pattern, inner connection that can be resolved, that can be worked at, but it's not usually very conscious. So just kind of like telling yourself in your brain that you're letting it go, it's not a problem, that doesn't really resolve it, because these patterns are deeply, deeply wired into your fight or flight system. They're kind of like reflexes in the sense that I'm telling you right now, this is on some level voluntary, but it's probably not going to feel voluntary to you. And unless you know exactly how to find those patterns and how to let them go, they're going to keep controlling you. And so you go into a space and suddenly all this energy just happens to you. And you're like, get the paper clips out of my face. And what then happens is either becoming the fixer, trying to preemptively fix everything, which in a relationship means that you become the mommy or the daddy. You try to fix everything, and it takes you out of a kind of balanced partnership, right? Because instead of just being a partner and saying, that's you, this is me, this is what I need, that's what you need, you start taking care of your partner in a way that also kind of disempowers them. And so a partner who doesn't want that may reject you in ways that you don't understand, and may tell you that, when you say you're feeling something, they're like, no, I'm not. That's fine. Because they're taking responsibility perhaps for what they're going through, or maybe they're not aware of feeling that thing. But often there's a sense of getting too involved, like digging into your partner's privacy energetically, because you feel that if you don't fix it there, it's going to keep coming towards you and overwhelm you, right? So you're like, okay, let's get this thing fixed because all those paper clips are driving me crazy. but your partner is, has his or her own story and relationship with those paper clips, and they need to sort that for themselves. So having a way to get those paper clips away from you while also allowing your partner to have as many as he or she wants, that's when you stop losing yourself in the relationship. And that's when you can more and more be yourself and let your partner have their stuff, you have your stuff, and separate those things out. So, long story, but the key points are that when you get overwhelmed in a relationship as an empath, you feel like you're losing yourself. In a way, you are, because you're completely consumed by what's going on with the other person in an attempt to calm things down and to feel better yourself and to stop all those paper clips from coming your way. The solution lies in the approach that I take, in learning how to be able to get that energy from other people out of your system so that you don't need to keep obsessing about it, and learn to go deeper into those patterns that you have that are automating this stuff to the point where you feel like you have no control. And yeah, unless you learn how to do this, it's true, you don't have control. And so the interesting thing here is just that everybody's empath patterns, well, not everybody's, but all the empath patterns are unique in this way. You have a unique story. So it really goes to starting to understand and learn this about yourself. How can you get in touch with those deeply hidden parts of yourself that are somehow doing this on purpose? Because you learned once upon a time that was the way to stay safe, or that was the way to be a good person, or that was the way that you were able to help and heal other people. Because that's the other aspect. A lot of empaths have a very strong kind of agenda, positive agenda, but still an agenda about wanting to help and heal and save other people. And so when you do that, it's like you've got this big red "come here for help" sign above your head, and you get all these people who come to you and kind of dump their stuff, and it gets really overwhelming. You may be able to handle one of these people, but if you've got a ton, you start to kind of lose yourself and all that. So, and this is the hard part, in empath healing in this way, there is a lot of this that you can't really understand intellectually until you've actually done it. That there's a lot of this that bypasses the brain, where you need to have intuitive ways to figure out what's going on energetically and what is going on with yourself, that you're somehow participating in this. Because your brain is going to say, "Oh no, but I'm not that person. I don't do these things. I know how I need to deal with that, and I know this is it's not my responsibility." And at the same time, there's a deeper part of you that's like, "Oh, it's totally my responsibility. Please give me all your drama. Please give me all your paper clips, because I'm going to try and save the world." So that's why you get overwhelmed. That's why you then lose yourself. And that's also, I hope, giving you a sense of the work that's involved in changing that. It's not about your partner calming down. It's not about the world being perfect. It's not about finding an ideal society of people who are all love and light and bubbly and high vibration. It's really about learning ways to change the way that you handle energy from others, and changing the ways that you feel obliged to help, heal, save, fix other people. If you would like to know more, go to thehappysensitive.com/training. I have a training program for empaths where I teach these skills that I talk about: how to get those paper clips out of your system, how to find those underlying patterns that are contributing to this energy sponge, scenario, and how to do that in a way that fits you, whether it's with, archangels and guides and all that kind of stuff, or whether you don't want to have anything to do with that and you want to keep it really kind of psychological and basic. Like, that's all up to you. It's not, you don't have to join a cult. You don't have to align yourself with any kind of extremist views. All that is required is that you're willing to accept the idea that energy is a real thing. It's not just in your head. Energy is real. And that whatever energy is coming your way, you are somehow participating in that and allowing for that and encouraging that. And so that doesn't mean that you should go to like the worst possible group of people ever and then try to be okay there, but it does mean that if you find yourself surrounded by certain types of people consistently, and no matter where you go, they seem to always be there, that is saying something about the patterns that you have as well. Saying something about those kind of like click into place puzzle pieces where somehow you've got something going on where those people are the natural fitting opposite to that. And so you make this perfect pair. And so last point, for empaths, it's interesting to consider the difference between relationships that are based on what you the good stuff that you want, the things that inspire you, the things that make you feel alive, the things, that really are kind of growth based, versus the things that are pain based. Very often the things that are pain based, our old wounds, our old insecurities, are very powerful. And if we bond with somebody on the basis of those parts of us, it creates a relationship where there may be a lot of kinship and a lot of understanding of those pains, but also to stay together with that person, the pain needs to stay. It's like, because the moment you start to heal the pain, suddenly your relationship glue starts to dissolve. So this is something that is also relevant for empaths, especially if you're losing yourself in a relationship. Not everybody that you have a relationship with, so I'm talking more about friendships now, is necessarily going to want the relationship to change, because there is a kind of benefit for them of having you tailored to their needs and kind of lose yourself in the process. So it's not all love and light in this way, in the sense that there can be real consequences. If you start to change this stuff, if you start to change how you deal with energy, there can be a real fallout in the people you have around you. And I know that for some people, that's a big reason not to want to do anything about this, because there's a sense of, then I might not have anything left to, connect with certain people in my life. So, there are ways in which you losing yourself in relationships and you trying to fix people or help them or heal them is keeping certain relationships intact. And if you don't want that anymore, if you're like, I don't want to lose myself in relationships anymore, I'm so done with that, check out the Empath program on my website under training. But if you are saying, well, I want to feel better, I don't want to take on people's energy in that way anymore, but I want all my relationships to stay the same, then I don't think that would work, unless all your relationships are great and everybody is encouraging you to, not concern yourself with their stuff. That's important to know. There are good, like, enjoyable sides to a change like this, and there are also some tough parts to that. All right, I think that's all that I had to share about this topic. If you want to read more about this, on my site, thehappysensitive.com, on the left margin of the site, if you're on desktop, there's a list of articles, like an article topic list, and there's the topic of, are you an empath? There's a lot of reading under that. If you're on mobile, then if you go to my site, thehappysensitive.com, at the bottom of the screen, there will be that same list of article topics. And just check out the articles under Are You an Empath? All right. I wish you a good day, and thank you for listening.